else? Time was moving a little fast for you?
Yeah.
Good. I'm Kevin Isaacs. As I said, I've been here since 1990. I'm from New Mexico. That's a state. It's not Mexico. There is no fence around it. It's one of the 50 states. It was actually a state before 3 other states. Anybody? 3 other states in New Mexico. So Alaska, Hawaii, Arizona. That's right. Matter of fact, Arizona was part of New Mexico. It was the big New Mexico territory back in the day. I was not around then. Welcome. I'm here to talk to you all. I did put 3 children, my wife and I, successfully put my children, let's see, 38, 34, 31. Each of them has 2 college degrees from all over the place, and so yes, I understand college a little bit. And I myself entered college at 18 and never left. So there's something about college in my family that we really like. I'm here to give you a little insight of the questions to ask when you're at all these universities. We know where you're looking. We appreciate all the places where you're looking, and we want your children to be there or here or somewhere else where they can thrive. That is, I will tell you that the faculty here has one wish, that your children go to college for 4 years for an undergraduate education in music. They're successful, they have the best times in their lives, and they become happy people no matter where they are. I'm also not going to blow a little sunshine at you and tell you that we're the best choice for everything, because that's ridiculous. Because I, as I said, attending all of these types of talks at universities for my 3 children, I got a little tired of being told how that was the best school in the world. It's just ridiculous. We can't meet everyone's needs. So I'll tell you what we do well. I'll give you some questions to ask so that you can see if those same types of things are done well at other places, because they are. And will that be helpful? And then you can have the conversation at the kitchen table with your sons and daughters and say, well, that man told me this. And then you're going to yell at me and go, why didn't you tell the student? Do you really believe that they listen to you about anything? They're not going to listen to me. I teach them, they don't listen to me. They're so used to being on screens, they literally believe that when they're in person, that we're a screen. Oh, is that guy talking again? I'm going to multitask, right? Because they watch the phone, watch the movie, talk to a friend, all at the same time, because it's all passive. We need to teach them to be more active when they're with human beings again, so that's up to you, and I'm going to do my best. So, let's first figure out about Western. We've been here 120 years. We started as a normal school. What the heck is a normal school? That is a college that was put together after the Civil War to teach teachers to be teachers. It was a way to make education available for everyone after the Civil War. That's why we get land-grant colleges. Same type of things occurred. So after the Civil War, there was this big push. We were a normal school, and we taught teachers. I have a copy here. This is pretty funny. This is a copy of the catalog from 1904 up here. It has a listing of all the students, there were around 40 of them, and where they lived, and the teachers, and their addresses. And there was a music teacher all the way back in 1904. So we began as a normal school. Other schools, of course, began as land-grant colleges, research places. Others began as seminaries, etc. Now, other famous, besides us, famous normal schools, UCLA, normal school. Florida State, normal school. These universities started all because they had a research university. They needed a university to help with teachers. So when you're looking at a school, it's nice to know what their history is. What was Berkeley's history? What was Hart? What's UConn, land-grant, normal school, technical college, all those types of things. Makes sense, right? That's the first thing you can kind of understand. Second thing is, what is with all these initials? BA, BA, what the heck is that? Arts and sciences? That's ridiculous. This goes back to the Greeks. They had the 4 things you needed to study and the 3 things that would be okay if you studied. The trivium and the quadrivium. I'm not going to give you a test where you need to know all that. Just realize, to them, the arts were things that you thought about. Like reading, studying things. You think about things. Who has a BA in here? These people think about things. You have a BA in psychology. They think about psychology. Who has a Bachelor of Science degree? Arts and science. The sciences are things you did, like science. You did it. Makes sense, right? So the College of Arts and Sciences is where you put the thinkers and the doers and you put them together. And then other people said, but I don't do either of those things. I'm a musician, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. And we have other letters. So for those people, a JD. We have any lawyers here? That's a specialized degree, JD. MD, DDS, right? Those are degrees that are specific to a discipline. So you have a BA in psychology, but you have a Bachelor of Music in music. See the difference? So what you need to know is when you're looking at those letters, am I getting a BA degree in music, which is more of a generalist, or am I getting a specific professional degree in music? Make sense? So now when you're at a university and they go, we offer a BA in this, and you're going to go, well, let me look at the classes so I can compare the load, because I want 2/3 of those classes to be in music if you're going to be a professional degree. I want 2/3 of those. And there are no standards unless you're in the accrediting body of the National Association of Schools of Music, which only between 15 and 20% of universities have that accreditation. We do. So colleges who have that, we all have the same standards, the highest standards for that. So if you're looking at UConn, you're looking at the University of New Haven, you're looking at these and you're saying a BA in audio production at New Haven and then a BM in audio production here, there's a big difference. One's a professional degree and has 2/3 of the credits in music and requires music performance and the ability to read and all that. And one is more of a technical thinker, not that. Does that help? The best way you could do it is you go online and download the program sheets. Let's all say that word, program sheets.
Program.
Say that again.
Program.
Oh, that was more friendly. You are not passive. I am not a screen. I'm a real person. Program sheets. These are awesome. It lists every single class they're supposed to take. And then you just go, boom, look at that. Oh, you're going to take 4 semesters of theory, and there's form and analysis, and it's pretty cool. You get to see the entire list of competencies. Because what we do here is we do something that's very confusing to these young musicians. They start about 4th grade and they get to pick a team. Do you want to blow into something, bang on something? What do you want to do? Blowers, bowers, bangers, sangers, and twangers. You have to be able to do one of those 5 things. And then they do that, and they learn music by doing all those things. They do it constantly, and they're in the musical, and they play in this band, right? You do everything. I know you families, you go, oh, he does everything. We know, that's what they do. And then they enter college, and we go, we'd like you to take one specific ability and competency and do it well. And you're going, I want to sing on stage. No, I want you to sit in this room by yourself and read that rhythm. I can't do that. We take it apart. It's really hard. If you want something difficult and tough on the brain and tough on your self-esteem, it's being a freshman music major. You've been so successful collaborating and making music for 10 years of your life, and then you're told to do one piece of that really well. Imagine. Very difficult. Going into your first math class and saying, name all your times tables and do it fast and do it now. 4 times 4. That's what's going on upstairs and around. Right, Ray? That's good. Well, you're still in my classes, so of course you have to say that. So let's look at some of these things, and then if you have any questions, I can help you. Let me put on my glasses because I can't see anything. I have at the top the number 1 issue, and that is who is teaching this private lesson. And why is that important? Well, besides their parents and their siblings and their significant others, the relationship they have with this professional musician might be the most important relationship they have musically. Who's teaching them for 4 years? And if you go to some schools where they have huge graduate presence, those private lessons are going to be taught by grad students. Now, I was a graduate student, and so I know how poorly they can teach, because I did it too. I thought it was pretty good. I wasn't. I got better, hopefully. A little better. Grad student. Even if that grad student is the finest player and teacher that ever existed, what happens after 2 years? They graduate. So no matter what, being taught by graduate students has its pitfalls. So that's a question you get to ask the university. Hey, Hart. Hey, UConn. Hey, University of Minnesota. Hey, North Texas State. Who's teaching Johnny to blow into that thing? Well, we have this. No. Dr. Green is teaching that lesson. Javier Oviedo is teaching that, maybe the finest classical saxophonist besides Kenneth Say, who's at University of Iowa. The two finest people in the country, that's who's teaching that lesson. A professional musician who plays in New York City, plays in Boston, plays in the area. That's the relationship you want. They're here, they're not going anywhere, and they have a network to help. That's why that relationship is so important, and you need to ask that question, number one. It's true. Because if there's a lot of grad students, you get an advantage too. I'll give them that. The advantage of grad students is the level of the playing in the ensembles rises because you have half of the seats are filled with people who are 22 to 50. People who are well along their way as musicians sitting next to you. I was a grad student. I went to TCU for my bachelor's degree, TCU for my master's, University of Arizona, Beartown, Arizona, Beartown. University of Go Wildcats for my doctorate. So I was in universities that had graduate presence, and so their ensembles are incredible. But they're also displacing undergraduates. They teach things, which is not as good as having professors teach them, and they take seats in ensembles. So what we like to do here, and what we believe is our strength, is we have no graduate students in the way. They don't teach anything, they don't steal any seats, and every person who plays in all these ensembles, it's your children, and they get to perform in as many as possible, which leads me to the next few things that you're just going to scratch your head. Are my children going to be in ensembles? Well, you'd think, well, you're a music major, duh. Well, guess what? You can go to a university and not play in an ensemble for 3 years because they audition every ensemble, even the major ones. You're not paying not to play. You're paying so you can play as much as possible. I know what your students like to do, and that's perform constantly. We guarantee, because it's written into our program sheets, it's written into the accreditation competencies, your sons and daughters will be in a major ensemble every semester. We will make them. We will find them. We will grab them metaphorically and drag them in there. Maybe not so metaphorically. Because we know that, did you brush your teeth? Mm-hmm. No, you didn't. And you go touch the toothbrush. Well, we will, through the ensemble, touch the toothbrush and make sure they're there because it's good for them. But not only that, look at these other ensembles. Are they guaranteed to be in other ensembles? You can go to a university, ask these questions. Hey, you college person, if my daughter is a classical voice major, can she sing in a jazz combo? Oh, no, we don't mix those people up. It's true. They even get offended. We don't know. No. You stay over there, and you stay over here. And we're just the opposite. We want to maybe push you to do that. Oh, you're a classical voice major. That's cool. You want to be in the pop and rock ensemble and sing in that because that'd be a good experience. Because I don't know about you, but I've been to a very highfalutin orchestral concert, and they do some pop music or some standards, and I look up there and it's an opera person. They have to have some flexibility. So that first section that I blocked off, those are the important things to ask about the performance. How are they getting a private lesson? Who's teaching it? Are they guaranteed ensembles? 2 a semester, guaranteed. 2. Ray, how many are you playing in last semester? 5. That would be more. Tell me what those 5 were.
I was in choir, I was in one ensemble, symphonic band, the spirit band, and saxophone ensemble.
There you go. Just like what? Just like a high school kid, playing all the time. It's really exciting. And we make every single student that comes into the program take a choral ensemble at least twice, which is wild. Because I smelled and saw some of your children, so I know that they play drums and guitar and that kind of thing. And so what we do is we force those students into a situation where they have to learn how to blend and work their ears and work their voices so that they can sight sing. Not only that, miracles happen. Years ago, when the New Haven Symphony had their 100th anniversary, our choir, I was directing it and teaching it back then, big choir, we went down there to perform the Mahler 8th Symphony. It's called the Symphony of 1,000. And that's because you have 400 singers, 100 voice children's chorus, 20 soloists, a gigantic orchestra. It's as if there's 1,000 people performing. It was incredible. And I drug all of our guys down there, and 2 jazz guitar dudes were leaving in their tuxedos with their hair down their back, and I caught them afterwards because it was quite an experience to do those sets of concerts. And the one looks at the other and says, "That's the coolest thing we will ever do." And I'm thinking, good that they understood that. The story gets better. That young man now is a film composer. He's a film composer. We do not know at 18 as a musician where we're going to end up. Watch this, Ray Ray. How many people in here are doing their job and it matches exactly what their degree is? Don't look around. Don't embarrass anybody. Pretty weird, huh? Some people might be 3 or 4 jobs away from that initial thing. How the heck do you know what you're going to do? Life is changeable. Thank God. Thank God we can do something different. I went in, I was going to be a high school choir director. Instead, I changed in the middle of my second year and became a theory comp major. But I'm still conducting choirs. I still get to do that, but I concentrated in a different area, theory and composition. It happens all the time. Some of the finest choral people I've ever known were not choral people. My friend in California was a trumpet player. My mentor at TCU was a pianist. We don't know. So we want this flexibility. You do not want to go in at 18 and have a university say, okay, that's what you are, put a stamp on your forehead and push you that direction, and that's all you get. I don't think that is a modern way to look at education. And so Dr. Larson told you what we want to do is take that amazing experience that they were doing in high school when they did everything. You're going to be in that too? Oh yeah, my friends are in it. Why can't we recreate that here so that they can be thrilled about making all that music? There's the designation of the degrees. I told you about that. Not as important as the first part. I've kind of put it in different areas so that you can understand. What's going on upstairs, by the way, in this audition is we are going to make a decision, and we're not right, by the way. I do not claim that when we make a decision about an audition that somehow we know. We're just doing the best we can, based on what we think your sons and daughters will be able to thrive here, be successful. You're going to get a letter or an email or something very quick in the next 2 weeks. All 4 things are great. They're all 4 positive. It's okay. It's going to be all right. All 4 things are positive. It's going to say, by the way, you must enter and be accepted by the university separately. So you have that normals, and then that has no effect on what comes over here. So you have to do that separately. Good. From us, you're going to get, number 1, it'll be yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes means you're awesome, come on in. And yes, you chose a degree program and we think you're going to be okay in there. See, because it's about that degree program. Yes, you can be in the music department. Yes, you can be a Bachelor of Science in Music Ed. Got it? Yes, yes. Number 2, yes. You try that one with me? Yes. There you go. Yes, you're in the music department. There's something about you. You're going to be amazing. But maybe you need a little more work in some things. There's something about being a music major, you don't decide that when you're 16. It would be like saying at 16, you know what, Mom, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be an Olympic gymnast. Honey, you're 16, and you're 5'10". I just don't think that's going to work. You can't decide to be a musician really late in life, and if you do, you better have some other attributes that can make up for it. I was an art person. as a child. I did private art lessons, carving, painting, that's what I did, and I was gonna be a lawyer. Had everything lined up to be a lawyer, go off and political science degree, the whole thing, but I was singing in choir. I liked it. Had a good ear, loved music. Went and became a music major, and I was way behind. I was that bad gymnast. So I had to figure it out in other ways and use my natural intelligence and my figure out ability. So it's very difficult, but it's not impossible. I did it, and now I've been teaching music all my life. Don't tell any stories, Ray, about that. I grew up playing the piano at 5 now. Can't do much of anything. So, yes, yes. Yes, well, maybe a BA, get your feet wet, take some classes, okay? Third one is waitlist. You're like, well, how can that be good? It means you're so awesome, but why are you playing what everybody else plays? The world has too many sopranos, too many saxophones, too many guitarists, too many. Sorry, too many. And the schools don't help because the schools let everybody play saxophone when they're little, when they should be playing flute and clarinet. Fingering's the same, they should be doing that. So if you have other children at home, especially when they're little, you might get some little ones, what you do is you go and look online under musical instruments. If you see an instrument you have no idea what that is, you rent it, and then you put it in the bed every night, and you see if they start to play. Because if they can play weird instruments like the bassoon, or the oboe, or the viola, heaven forbid, they can go to any music school in the world because they play weird instruments. Makes sense, right? Because we have to have all these ensembles and we must fill them up with all those crazy instruments. That's what we're worried about. We get too many sopranos. I can't have my chamber singers, which I teach the chamber singers, and we have 25 people. We have about 6 on a part. I can't put the top 12 sopranos in there. It's going to be a pretty bad choir. I need people who sing other parts. And so waitlist is you're playing one of those instruments that there's too many of, but you're amazing. And your only problem is we didn't hear you in time. So you have an advantage over people we hear in February, over people we hear in late February, and over people we hear in April. By April, if you're a soprano, you're going to be waitlisted even if you're the best singer in the world. So it's not about your ability, it's about managing enrollment management so that we can do what we can do for everybody. We are a football team, and we can't draft the top athletes every time if they're all linebackers. How does that make some of the guys went, you gotta take the best athlete, but sometimes I need a quarterback. So we need quarterbacks, we also need cornerbacks, we need the specialized people. So don't take offense about the wait list, just say, honey, you are so good at what you do in a common instrument that they want you, but they don't know who's gonna show up. So it's very important that you tell us and other universities as soon as possible when you know where you're going so that we can congratulate you either way. And then we open up a slot, or we open up a slot for somebody else so that another child can go to college and do what they want to do. You're helping somebody else. And we are all good people. We're all good people. You know why I know we're all good people? And I'll say this with my heart. You are here to support your children to go to college, to study something they love. That tells me who you people are. My father was always angry that I went to be a musician instead of a lawyer. Maybe that's why I didn't talk to him for 22 years at a time. God bless him. Anyway, that's good. We have feelings here, don't we, Ray? We got so many feelings. Here we go. Can we move? Yes, yes. Yes. Wait list. And the number 4 thing is no. And that's good. That's good. No one ever made a change in life because everything was great. People only change when something becomes difficult. And that difficulty becomes an opportunity to make a decision in another direction. And so the best thing that can happen is to be told, here's your 10 schools, you got a no and a no and a no and a no and a wait list and a yes and a no. A yes. That must be a sign. That's going to be good for you. They want you. It's not that we don't want you. We just are managing something that's out of our control. We teach as many people as possible when we'd be the University of North Texas. They have no limits. They'll bring in everybody who wants to be there. And they might never get a private lesson, they might never play in an ensemble, they get their BA in music and they can say, I was a music major at North Texas. Well, you didn't get to do very much. When you come here, we're gonna work you and you're gonna have a blast and you're gonna be here from 8 in the morning till midnight making music the entire time. It's a difficult major when it comes to how much time it takes. Now on this side of the campus, we have these beautiful windows here. And if you were to, as a music major, go up to that corner over there and look out, and you would see about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 2:30, you'd see children laughing and playing and throwing a frisbee and just enjoying themselves. These are called business majors. Because where are my business majors? Marketing especially, and because they only have classes, I don't know, from 10 to 2, and that's it. It's really weird. And half are online, and there you go. And they only take 4 classes. How many classes did you take last semester? 8, now 10? 10 classes. Because we have classes that are half a credit, 1 credit, 2 credits, 3 credits. Not 4 3-credit classes. So what we do is a little different because we have workshop classes. And how do we balance it?
How do the students balance it with 10 classes a semester?
It only adds up to 18 credits.
Okay.
They're in doing things from 8 to midnight. And they all have one of these. This lets them into the building, and it lets them into their practice rooms, and lets them do what they do. You don't leave this place. No, I never left the music building we live here. We do our stuff all day long. It's really fun. We do silo the classes so that whatever the majority of your morning freshman theory and all that kind of classes are on Monday and Thursday, so that you can do downtown classes, midtown classes, the opposite days. We work the schedule so you can get back and forth. So, yes, wait list, and no, let's make a decision. Let's figure this out. It always struck me weird when my wife and I would watch early on in those shows like American Idol and those kinds of things, especially on American Idol. And somebody would be told no, and then they'd go up to him afterwards, and they'd, my dream is crushed, and it's like, well, you like to sing, you want to sing, go sing. No one told you you couldn't sing. They just said, we don't want to hear you sing here. No one's telling you, no, don't follow your dream. They're just saying you're going to follow your dream somewhere else. It's good. It's a good thing. It's okay. Everybody, let's inhale some love. Come on. Exhale some fear. Oh, you feel better already, don't you? Good. My wife is a physical therapist and a yoga teacher and a Reiki master. So a little bit's rubbed off, literally and figuratively, along the way. 39 years. There you go. 40 years this year. We'll make it to 40. Easily 3 or 4 of the finest years of my life. So, all of you are from the area, obviously, in Connecticut, and Massachusetts, and New Jersey, and New York, and all that, right? Nobody's here from Idaho or anything like that? Good. Well, I'm going to give you all a scholarship, 30% off the top right now. Okay? Can you feel that? Good. Because that's the difference between in-state and out-of-state tuition costs and the tuition costs at a private school. There is no public education anymore. Just put it back in your head. There were public colleges back in the day, and they still call us public. There's nothing public about us. We are publicly assisted. Our budget for the year is going to be about $140 million, and we will get a grant from the state of about $36 million, or up to $45 million. That's not paying for it. See, that's just helping. And that comes from tax dollars. So private school pays everything by itself. Public school, it's money from the government, but only a certain amount. As low as 10, 15% in some places. Even though it says the University of blank, they're only getting a little bit of money from blank. And so the rest has to be made up in tuition and costs and all those kinds of things. So there's a cachet in the Northeast that does not exist everywhere else. And I know y'all are Yankees and you're all from the Northeast, most of y'all. And so don't take offense. It's okay. Although I couldn't even tell my grandmother I lived up here. She's from Kentucky, and like, there's no way I can tell her. Public-private problem is not a big deal in the rest of the country, but it's very big in the Northeast. Private high school, private college. It's more important here than what it really matters. If you're in New Mexico, or you're in Oklahoma, you're in Texas, and you go, I'm going to San Marcos, and I'm going to University of this, nobody cares, everything is great. Oh, great, we'll have fun. Up here, it has to go, we're going to Snooty Pants College. And at Snooty Pants College, there's a climbing wall in every bathroom. It's amazing. I don't know why I thought that, but maybe that's secretly what I want. And I know what happens. You're at the soccer game, and here's your neighbor from Newtown or whatever towns going, and then Sally is going to be a major at Snooty Pants U, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Go to Snooty Pants U because it's the right place for the right major, for the right urban or versus rural location. You go for those reasons, not for its snooty. I'm going to let you know that so that you and I can raise our hands and say, I will not spend money that doesn't matter. I will only spend money that helps my children be happy. That's it.
And get a job.
What's that?
And get a job.
Find a job. Until I have to switch another job down the road. That's going to happen. So we're going to give you a degree here that is as varied and vast and full as we can, and especially music education, because it is good to be in the Northeast in music ed, because we have the highest standards of that in the country. And in Connecticut, it's pre-K through 12, all levels, all everything. It's the most amazing certification anywhere, because you can teach at any level, anybody, no matter what they're blowing into. If you go to Texas and you're at my university at TCU, you got a secondary choral music ed, and that meant you could do choirs in high school, and that's it. And then all this forcing these people to be in other ensembles has an advantage. Anybody here a teacher? Good. So watch their faces, they'll understand this. You will not understand what I'm saying. Your child is sitting in the desk with the principal, and the principal says, we have 3/5 of a job. Right? I mean, you're going, what is 3/5 of a job? That's the way they do it. And you go, well, okay, I'm going to do strings and this and that because I play the violin. What's the other 2/5? Do you have another need? Well, we have the 8th grade choir needs this. And you go, I took choir twice. I took choral conducting as well as instrumental conducting. I went to Western. They made me do everything all the time as much as possible. I'll take that now. I have 5/5 of the job. 5/5, which is better. It is, it's better. We pride ourselves, we're in an isolated little town in the corner of Connecticut, but we are 55 miles from Times Square standing right here. That's an advantage. We're in this $97 million, 137,000 square foot state-of-the-art building. And we have a dedicated faculty who, they just don't leave. Nobody leaves. When you come here, you want to stay because it's a great place to make music and a great place to live and a great place to be. We are here to serve your students. I teach all the freshmen guided listening. I will teach every single freshman person. I've been here 34 years. Then I'll teach them some sophomore theory. And then I get them this form and analysis. And then I might teach some of them in composition and then maybe even private composition. They get to see us all the way through. Not a bunch of grad students. Not a bunch of adjuncts that are teaching the main courses. Our adjuncts teach private lessons, not our courses. The courses are taught by tenured, full-time, tenure-track professors with offices and office hours. We think we do it well, that part of it. Are we a big deal university? No. Mid-level? We're called Comprehensive 2. Comprehensive 2 means we have some master's degrees, we have a few doctoral degrees, but we concentrate on teaching undergraduates because that's our history. So I can't compete with UConn, it's rah-rah. I can't compete with Hart and what it has. I can't compete with Berkeley and all that, but I can tell you that in some places, maybe Berkeley, if you're not the top of what you do, maybe that's not where you need to be. You know, but if you're the best at what you do, you should be there. It'd be great. But if you need a big education and a big set of arms around you the whole time, I think we can do a pretty good job. Any questions? This building is here. I can answer questions about that. You see these panels? They can change the acoustics in here from 1 second to 3 seconds. And if you stand real quiet, the only thing you're actually hearing is the cooling for the camera because there's no HVAC for this. It's pushed under quietly from those little holes in the floor underneath you. Complete isolation. This is an advantage having this because every other university I know, when I was at the University of Arizona as a doctoral student, I never saw the concert hall. When I was taught there for 2 years as a visiting professor of composition, never saw the concert hall. The concert hall was used to make money. At UConn, at all big schools, they use their facilities to make money with the Road Company of Cats, the traveling tour, and whatever incarnation of the Doobie Brothers is still alive. And our students never get to use those facilities. This building, this room is 362 seats, too small to do any of that because it was designed solely for your child. How many hours a week are you in here? 100? Can you imagine? This is your classroom. And the recording studio on the second floor. And the beautiful terrace. This is your classroom. And you get to do your recital in here. If you're a master's student at a university toward an airport in Westchester, I forgot what it was called. If you're there even as a master's or doctoral student, you never get to be in one of the halls. You do your final recital in a concrete bunker in the basement with curtains. Instead, your child will sing their final vocal recital right there with one of those $175,000 pianos. Right there. And you can sit right there and it's going to sound unbelievable. They get to use what was built for them as opposed to other universities. It's another consideration. That's why we like this building so much. We did it intentionally. They wanted a 1,500 seat, and we said, but we'll never be in it, and it'll be too big for what we do. This is just about right for 90% of what we do. Cool. Let me see if I can answer anything. Yes?
So actually 2 questions. What happens if their dream is to do music and all of a sudden they don't want the music anymore and they filter into the system?
Oh yes, everything transfers. When you looked at those credits, 120.
No, but in the,
Yeah.
like I could say at one time.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, do you have like a master's for like teaching education?
We had a music education master's for that second level of certification for 50 years. It's on hiatus now because we're redoing it to modernize it. It'll be back along with a degree in jazz pedagogy. So it's returning. It'll be returned by the time they're ready for it in 4 years.
Okay, so they'll get that, okay.
Those general credits, everybody here took Psych 101, Communication 101, right? Those are the same at every university, no matter where you go. And they're between 35, 36, and 40 credits. So 1/3 of everybody's degree here, we all took the same classes. It's that 2/3 of the other classes that is the difference.
Any dual degrees?
Dual degrees, no. Well, if you're taking a professional degree in music education, they're telling you to take all those courses. There's no room. Audio degree is the same. The professional degrees, there's no room to put a second degree in there. If they want, and there's so much crossover, You're not missing out, you're just picking a team. I think I'm gonna go through the music education team, and then as a grad student, you can break off from there and go in any direction you want at that point. That happens all the time. We get music education people who finally take composition with me through all of those mechanisms, and then they go get a master's degree in theory comp, and even a doctorate. We have dozens and dozens of students who got theory composition, masters and doctorates without getting that here. It's like a Juris Doctor. I mean, anybody who's a lawyer, there's no undergraduate degree in lawyering. You get whatever you want, BA in psychology, take the test, you get your law degree. Same kind of thing. You can put more of a dual track if you're in the BA degree, and you can add stuff outside journalism, something outside the major. But those professional degrees are really tight. And that's a good question. He's asking a question that we hear all the time. I want my daughter to be music theater and music performance and music ed, and we're like, that's like saying I want to be, biology, chemistry, and physics all at the same time. They're all kind of, but they're not. But they can take those other things and see if they like them more, then they can shift over if they need to. That happens all the time. You got 10, 20 friends who started one and became something else, including your new friend me. I switched in the middle of the whole thing. More questions?
What is your, I know that, I can't remember her name, mentioned for the K through 12 placement is pretty much 100%. What about the other degrees?
Placement, that's a little difficult to know what they're doing. We know in audio it's pretty high, but you have to keep track of them, and that's almost impossible. When it comes to music ed, which is what we're known for the 120 years, it's 100% because when there's an opening anywhere in the state of Connecticut or even in New York, they call us first because they know we pump out all the teachers. And so because they're all teaching, when they need a new teacher for their district, they call us. And then so the network is strong for that. When it comes to the other areas, if you're going to be a classical performance major, you're going to go to grad school. So the placement would be grad school placement, not job placement. And that's very, very high. Our people are placed all over the country. So again, it's about the degree. If you're an audio degree, we're going to put you in a profession. We got the guys working for Apple, and you're going to end up in the industry. So audio degree goes in the industry, and you do an internship, and that's very high. Music ed, you're going to be placed because we are the music ed school for the Northeast. If it's classical performance or jazz performance, you're going to go to grad school. That's your placement. If you're looking for college, as we all do because it's so expensive and it's so frustrating, remember we're not trade schools. And what's happening in higher education across the country is a real sad thing because no one is studying degrees that don't lead directly to a job. So we're losing English criticism and philosophy and all sorts of people, but we need people who can think like that. But we're losing them because stupid colleges have overblown their budget so much that they caused the problem, by the way. The colleges caused the problems, but not public colleges. The private colleges went in that war of we're going to be better than you and we're going to turn our colleges into Hiltons as opposed into a simple dorm with a classroom. They did it all, and then they built their endowments along the way. They didn't need to do that. They could probably have free education for 10 years just on their endowments. So I would be as upset as you. I get it. But it's not a trade school. It's to teach something that you really love, and along the way, taking these other courses and building these competencies so you know how to be flexible in a job market. My son works for Google. He's in finance for Google out in Google land there in Silicon Valley. He went to Duke and had a degree in poli-sci. But he worked for Duke in finance. So that's kind of the way your life has gone as well. Other questions? You're very quiet. I am a real person. It's okay. I'm not a screen. I'm right here. Hi.
So do you have any clubs, like theater clubs? Because I see you have a theater major.
We have not just a theater major, we have
Right.
an amazing theater program, yes. And they're eligible to try out for those. And our people play in the musical pits.
Yeah.
We collaborate with them all the time. They play in the pits. There are people sing in our choirs. We are in the same building. They act a little differently. See, the only difference between a theater person and a music person, they're both completely self-conscious and self-possessed and nervous and everything. And a musician gets over it by going into a practice room and staying by themselves. And a theater person gets over it by becoming flamboyant. But they're both the same person. And then there's art people on the north side of the building for the soft northern light. They're north people, and no one has ever seen any of them. You just hear them every now and then. You hear, then you turn, and you'll see a portfolio disappear. No one has ever, have you ever seen an art major? No one has ever seen an art major. They're like rats.
What if your kids all three?
Yeah, like I was. I did the musicals, I was in art, I was music, I was supposed to be a lawyer. Somebody messed up. Now I'm as mad at myself as my father was. Who else? Yes,
Can you just describe, there's two campuses and students go back and forth between the two?
they do. There's a tunnel with a tube and you sit in it and you push it. No. There's the Happy Bus. Do they still use the app for the Happy Bus?
Yeah, there is an after chat.
Yeah, there's a shuttle tracker app, and you get out of bed, you put your ball cap on, you put your, well, I guess they're still on. Keep your pajama bottoms on, put your Ugg boots, throw on a sweatshirt, and then you run out and catch the bus. It goes back and forth. 15 minutes?
15 minutes between campuses.
Just boop, boop, boop. That is very common. Duke is that way, Yale is that way, University, I mean, having buses move people on campuses is a very, very traditional thing. Now, maybe not as much in the Northeast, but it happens at all sorts of places. In Arizona, the campus is so huge, there's no way you could get back and forth without taking these little shuttles and things like that.
But do students live on this campus or the other campus or both?
They're required, their freshman year to live on the Midtown campus, so that's the other campus, and then starting their sophomore year, because we're music majors, we have enough credits to live on West Side for the remaining 3 years.
Because it's pretty over here. You get the sun setting over on the western mountains over there, it's beautiful. West, oh, that way, west. What's that?
You don't have to take the bus if you live here.
They just come trudging up the hill. I look out the window and watch the crew, and they're just like ants walking right up the hill. Or from across, because we have our own food service and student center right across here, which is really helpful to study groups and that kind of stuff. Yes?
So is the, like, we'll call them the general ed courses mostly on the other campus, and that's why the freshmen,
Right. They're trying to get them started off together, and they're trying to get them to know each other. Being a music major is kind of a lonely job. You are literally with your people constantly. I can't stress that enough. You will live in this building, and they'll be your best friends for life, and they're going to be the network people that say, I need a saxophonist, come play my gig. Because it just takes so much time to do what we do. Yes? We do not have a marching band. We have a spirit band that plays at some of the home football games, that plays at some of the basketball games, and we teach marching band as a competency. So you'll learn how to do drill and right drill and all those kinds of things. And most marching bands are paid for, 95% of marching bands are not part of the music department. They're part of the athletic budget. We're Division III, we play for God. And we don't have scholarships or any of that kind of stuff, so they don't have a budget to support that. But when you see a marching band and any of these other, that's paid for by the athletic budget. And so some music people are involved with it, and most of those people at those big schools, those aren't even music majors. Those are chemistry majors who want to have fun and they play the flugelhorn, so they're doing that. When my son was at Duke, I went to a concert to see in the chapel there. It was incredible. And they had 70 string players, 70. And in the program, they listed what the majors were of all the people just in the string, of everybody, horns, but just in the string players. I looked through, and they had 5 music majors. Their department at Duke is smaller than our department, even though their ensembles are gigantic, because those students want to play music because it's fun. They want to get away from it all. And we're just stuck here and playing it because of the torment and drudgery, masochism. What else? I hope it's positive. These are positive things. I already gave you some love. I mean, come on. We're all close friends now. What can I do for you?
Maybe the question is for the student,
Please.
but do the classes, as in the freshmen, sophomores, do you all intermingle, or y'all just, like you said, silo with freshmen?
No, we definitely all intermingle. My favorite way to describe this is like, I came and auditioned at West Conn, and as you saw, all those students there, they're here on their free will, no one begged them to come, they asked to be at the audition, because I take pride in the fact as a senior, that I go into every day looking for the underclassmen, because that's what the seniors did when I was in underclassmen, so I knew every single person in all 4 years. And my cohort of people tend to be the people that I go to class with, and so they tend to be in my year, but that doesn't change the fact that outside of class, we're always, for example, Corn they're on stage today, they're juniors, I've been their friends since they were freshmen, and we still hang out all the time. I'm student teaching right now, and we still make plans outside of school to hang out because I'm not in VPAC as much as I used to. So, in my experience, the upperclassmen do a very good job to take care of the underclassmen, to nurture them through their 4 years. And as an upperclassman, I ensure that that's what we do for the freshmen, because it would be very hypocritical to take all the love and care that I got in freshman year and then not give it to our underclassmen. So I find that our community is very close in that way.
Thank you.
They're going to be together in some small ensembles and on the big ensemble. The 75-piece symphonic band is going to have freshmen all the way to student teachers playing. And then the smaller, some combo, jazz combo, the drummer, they're all going to be from different classes. So they're intermingling when they're making music, which is the best way. But when they're in their own classes, of course, they're going to be with their own age group like that. So the interaction is going to come during ensembles. And then when we're in here on convocations two times a week, we sit in here for an hour and we play music for each other. Yes?
How many students are average in a class? Like music,
The campus-wide is like 15 to 1, but we're really, really small because our theory courses on the 3rd floor, our rooms we kept small. So my theory class, I teach sophomore theory, will have 17. Basketball had 18. When I teach the guided listening for all the freshmen, we were in the big classroom and I had 51 freshmen. But that was the nature of it. We were all together. It's my favorite class. We learn how to appreciate and listen to any kind of musical expression, no matter where it comes from. And then we all present music for each other. All 52 of us present music to each other. And by the end of that class, these students are cheering for each other because it's all about diversity and openness and really understanding that everything should be valued, especially the music. If we're going to be musicians, we can't be those snotty musicians at some schools, which you'll see. I'll liken it to a person who studies dinosaurs, and they stumble upon some bones, and paleontologists, and they go, oh, I don't study those dinosaurs.
So as a freshman, they will be coming up here then too for at least 1 or 2 classes or something.
They'll be taking guided listening, they're one ensemble, a second ensemble, keyboard, sight singing, and music theory. There are like 6 classes here.
And that's what they try to keep that on the same day.
We do the keyboard, sight singing, ear training, and the theory in the same boom, boom, boom right there on 2 days a week. And then guided listening is 1 day a week. It's quite a schedule, but it works.
Half semester, they're already traveling back and forth to each.
Old pros.
How do you fit in the music ed, like the teaching for the music education, the teaching?
Student teaching's in their final semester.
Oh,
And then they're doing observations from day 1. So unlike another school in the state that has a really great basketball program, they are music ed from day 1. Not only music ed, they're called music ed from day 1, and then they go immediately into observations right then, and they're doing their intro to music education that first semester. We treat them as music teachers from the first day. Other schools, they have to wait till they're juniors, and then they have to move from there. And of course, as you mentioned, they have to have a master's degree in the discipline. So any 4+1 programs that you see out there, they're actually not legally true because that master's degree is not in music, it's in education.
But doesn't the state require, I mean, I don't know, doesn't the state require eventually them to have their master's?
Yes, in music, but some districts just hire people with 4+1. But yes, legally, it has to be. So that's why we do our degree, we stop, and then we start the master's after that. We want you to do that. Imagine you're gonna be a principal. The principal says, okay, you went to a 4+1 program, so you have a master's degree, you're 22 years old, 23 years old, and I have to pay you $10,000 more than this person from Western who has just their 4 and they're ready to go. Why would I do that? Doesn't make sense. I have to pay you more just because you went faster, and your master's was not a 2-year in the discipline master's. So there's an advantage to being conservative in that way. And who knows, once you get out of those 4 years and you're teaching, you may not want to do that. And now you've already spent the money and the time to get the master's. I'd say wait. Wait afterwards, and then do it later. That makes sense to me. Don't do like I did and go straight through. I went to college 9 years straight through, got the doctorate, and I've been teaching ever since. I'm getting tired of college. Yes?
Question's actually hard. You said you're a vocal or
I'm a saxophonist.
so do you also do vocal?
Yes, but that was just because I was told to do vocal and then fell in love with it once I got here. Because I did not sing once before I got to college, and then I took my first semester of concert choir and thought we sounded really good in our concert, so I wanted to do it again, and then I just kept doing it. And I, as a music ed major, also have to take vocal workshop in order to learn how to teach vocally, and then there's a fourth one. Oh, choral conducting. So I took many choral classes as part of the degree, so I ended up just doing way more choral than I expected to.
Are there vocal majors that play just as much instrumental?
Yes.
Yes.
Our symphonic band, I would say, my saxophone section last semester, for example, I was the only person who played the saxophone in the symphonic band that had that as their major. Every single other person was a vocal major in my section.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll look out there and start counting the people from my chamber singers ensemble, and they're all holding all sorts of stuff, and I go, but you're singing in my group, and not because it's the top audition group, and they're all playing instruments. It's really exciting. Yes?
I just have a question. What is campus like on a weekend? Who's here on a weekend and it's being really,
Well,
yeah.
for me and my friends, we're always here. If you have friends that live on this campus, which they absolutely will, because if they're a sophomore or older, they will be on this campus. We spend a lot of the time in the dorms, playing in the dorms until somebody complains about it, and then moving here, and then playing here instead. There's a lot of stuff outside of campus that we like to go to. For example, there's this laser tag place 10 minutes from here, one of our favorite things to do. So we just are always together. I can't emphasize enough how much time we spend together voluntarily. I already see all of my friends all the time in class, and then as soon as we get out of class, if we know both of us are not doing anything, we will be together. I think the only time I spend by myself is going to bed at night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but by choice. I could easily, especially towards your later semesters, because you start, as a music ed major, I really focused in on instrumental because I knew I wanted to do general music, which sometimes I regret because I now am student teaching and I sing every day. So I wish I took more choral stuff. But I find that what I'm doing is mostly stuff that I do because it's fun, because I enjoy to do it, because we make little groups that we don't even go and perform on stage. We just make little groups of people that like to play instruments together. The brass club, for example, during the Christmas time, they got some Nightmare Before Christmas sheet music, and I went and conducted this brass group of people who are not a cohort of groups. It's our first time ever playing together, and we played for 3 hours in the campus center just because we wanted to. So it's things like that. It is a 10 to 12 hour day, but it could be a 6-hour day if I didn't want to do music all the time. But from my experience, every person that goes here loves music so much, that's all they ever do.
It is a question you're going to have to ask around the kitchen table. Because my 3 children, as I said, went to 3 different places for 3 different reasons. And my oldest went to Boston College because he wanted to be in a city. So he could catch the T-line and go right into Boston just like that. So his reasons were, he wanted that nightlife, he wanted that urban vibe. My son went to Duke for other reasons, and then my little baby boy, who's a giant, 31 now, he went to mom and dad's school, he went to TCU, and had a whole different experience. If they want to have University of Madison, Wisconsin at Madison lineup of bars and things, or go to Belmont and be in Nashville, and, you know, if you want that, you go there. I don't know that that's going to be good for your GPA, but it is a discussion. Duke, you know, was all about a rah-rah, and he camped to get tickets to watch Coach K and the basketball team, and then, you know, he liked the rah-rah part. So if they want that, go to UConn. Go to a school that has that. And if that complements what they're doing musically, that's going to be great. I just want to give you the facts about what you're really paying for and that education that you want them to take when they cross the stage and switch their tassel from one side to the other. Are they going to say, well, I sure partied for 4 years. That was great. I sure had a lot of fun. Or am I prepared, as you state, to get that job and do it well?
I didn't think music majors have time to party.
They don't. Well, they do, and then they're not music majors after that year. That's what you need to make sure you tell your sons and daughters. Hey, this is a full-time commitment.
Just one more question.
Yeah.
Like, how much percent of students go home on the weekends? Like, just on campus in general? Has it become a ghost town besides the music building?
I would not call it a ghost town. I would say 30% of students go home on the weekend if they live close enough. I personally live about an hour away, so that was a big reason why I picked Wisconsin, because it's far enough that my mom couldn't show up every day, which she would do. But I could also go home when I wanted to and do laundry, which I also love to do.
We're half commuter. I mean, and the thing is, even though they're not on campus, I only lived on campus for 1 year, so I was a commuter. My second, etc. People go and live, they put 20 people in a bad apartment somewhere, right? That's where students go live off campus anyway. So the fact that they go home, well, where's home? How far away would that be? For me, it would have been 600 miles. I couldn't go home. So, as I was in New Mexico, remember, it's a state. It's beautiful. One more question.
Are freshmen allowed to have cars?
Yes. No parking fees, they can have cars. Oh, also one more thing, your sons and daughters can take up to 21 credits, 18 or above is what they're looking, so that they, without paying extra. So in some universities, look at the fee structure. If it's 15 credit, 12 is full-time, but 12 won't get you out in 4 years. 15 gets you out in 4 years. 15 is full-time. How much is that 16th credit? 17th credit, that's more money. Here they can take 18 for sure, and 18 to 21 with permission, no added fee. So that's why you're able to take the second conducting class and 5 ensembles. And so they're not taking 12 to 15 credits. Our music majors take 18 to 21 credits. So not only is it busy, they're making themselves doubly busy, but they're getting more for their money. You guys have been great. I wish you the best of luck. Have these conversations. Be open, be kind. Listen, it's going to be okay. You're going to do it together. You love them, and they're going to be okay. And they're going to make some mistakes. You're going to love them even more. All right? Thanks.